completely unedited and unfiltered because I don't know how to do that yet, especially on a video camera. Hi, I'm Sarah, if you haven't noticed, because this is my Facebook page that I'm posting it on. I have got no overhead lighting right now in my apartment, no much light at all, because both the light in my dining room and the light in my kitchen have gone out. So I have a work order in to my apartment complex to fix that. I've got 2 lanterns on either side of me. It's creating an interesting glow. I have a very small apartment with not a lot of light anyway. I kind of like the low lighting, just to save money, but also because light creates heat and I'm really hot-natured and, I just like the dark. The reason I'm doing this video is, first of all, to test out this camera and test out the setup that I just got in today. So, well, I've had the tripod, but the video camera and the microphone I just got in today. And I know I don't have any makeup on, I haven't done my hair, the lighting is not great, but I'm here to talk to everybody. I'm here to ask questions, which is something that I very want to do. There's a lot of people, if you know me, you should because you're on my Facebook page. I love asking questions. I also love answering questions. I love talking. So that's something that I love. So I have so many thoughts in my head. That's the reason why I'm doing this. I'm asking y'all, if I were to sit here in front of the camera and talk or do something, what would you like to see me do? Do you want to see sewing tutorials? Do you want me to take this setup over here, take it over to my sewing desk or my sewing table and show you how to do very basic sewing skills, doing a straight stitch, turning corners, hemming pants, inserting elastic, making your own tote bags, or very simple things like that? Is that something you'd be interested in watching? A little bit more advanced than that, would you be interested in hearing / watching me talk about or make historical costuming, historical clothing? A lot of you know that that's one of my main passions, is talking about history, and I like to sew. So costuming, or what is really just clothing, is something that I am and always have been extraordinarily interested in. Do you want to hear about sumptuary laws? Do you want to see me make clothes for the historical reenactment that I do out at Pioneer Farms? Because the clothes that you see me make would be clothes that everyday people would have worn. I don't make these big ball gowns. I don't wear crinolines and mini petticoats and all that stuff. All of the clothes that I make are clothes that immigrants would have worn, everyday working class people would have worn. That's who I portray when I'm doing my historical reenactment, and that's pretty much how it is for all of the reenactment that I do. Even when I'm not acting, if I'm just a patron at fair, I tend to do working class people wearing linens, and not really wool, because I don't like wool because I'm very hot-natured, but linen and cotton, that's generally my go-to. Cottons, especially starting in the 19th century, but linen and other such natural fabrics that would have been very easily attainable by everyday folks. Then that's what I do for my historical costuming, and I kind of see, as I watch costubers, that's something that I hardly ever see. I always see people making things like, making this grand, like, robe de française out of, like, 58 yards of purple silk, and I'm like, that's not my thing. Here I am, I found some linen for $2 a yard at place that's going out of business, and let's find out what I can make out of it. It's going to be a kirtle, it's going to be a dress, it's going to be an apron, I don't know, multiple different things, whatever I can stretch out. So that's that. Do you want to hear me talk about that? Do you want to see or / hear me talk about RPGs? I run a group here called Austin Inclusive Role Players. And do you want to hear me talk about inclusivity and intersectionality in role playing? About, the first few would probably just be me talking about my life as a queer woman who has who's loved fantasy and sci-fi and genre media her entire life. And I had 2 wonderful older brothers who introduced me to things like HeroQuest when I was like 7, 8 years old. I don't remember. Of course they made fun of me when I misspelled my elf's name. I tried to name him Rogue, but I put the U in the wrong place and named him Rouge, and they would not allow me to change the name. But from that, just playing another character, and then reading my brother's Rolemaster books and D&D books, and playing the Baldur's Gate games from the late 90s, early 2000s, and that really just, they blew my mind. They're still my favorite games pretty much of all time, and that introduced me to D&D for real in the system, and being able to play Dungeons & Dragons on the internet, and then play Dungeons & Dragons with real people in real life, which I am still now back to playing on the internet, but just real people. talking, do you want me to talk to other people like me, or who are different than me, but who aren't cisgender, heterosexual, white, able-bodied men? So talking to people of color, people of Asian descent or African descent, or people who are Latinx, people of varying gender identities, people who are non-binary or agender, or anywhere else on the gender spectrum, cube, blah, gender, sexuality. It's not a line, Kenzie. You had a good idea, but we have to expand into a gender amorphous amoeba blob thing. Do you? Yeah, that's something I can talk about. Do you want to hear me say words like the heteropatriarchy and just various, things like that? Hopefully, it would be wonderful after this pandemic is over to film if I'm able to moderate panels, which I was supposed to do back in May, talking about diversity in gaming, videotaping those, or those don't use tape anymore, it's all digital, and putting them up on the internet for people to watch, and or just even do game reviews. I've got some new RPGs, and I read one of them, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to play this right now, it's the best game ever! It's called Familiars of Terra, and if anybody wants to play, seriously, I have no games this weekend, let's do this. I'll walk you through character creation, it's the coolest thing. But I have another new game. Do you want to hear me talk about those and just read reviews? I can talk about the pros and cons of Dungeons & Dragons, and the pros and cons of Vampire the Masquerade, of other World of Darkness stuff, anything that I've played, anything that I've read, because gaming is more than those kind of big bastions of gaming, Dungeons & Dragons and World of Darkness, and the Star Trek and Star Wars RPGs that kind of are what takes over. There's so many amazing, wonderful indie RPGs that are written by people of varying backgrounds, and they're so much fun, and they're so worth your playing, and they're so worth your read. And do you want me to talk about those and just share what I found recently? They may be older versions of games, but like Familiars of Terra came out, I think, in 2018, but it's something I just saw like a few months ago, and I just picked it up Sunday, and it's great. It's amazing. I have some friends that are like, oh my god, she probably won't shut up about this game, but I think it's really cool, and I think more people should play it. So that's what I'm asking. I'm sitting here in front of this camera, awkward AF. That's the next thing is I'm not great at the technology side of this. I'm fine with the content side of things, writing and talking into a camera, but the technology is not my strong suit, not my bailiwick. I know I need to get like some lights, better lighting, just in general. But video editing, that's a daunting task. My computer, both of my computers, neither one of them, my laptop or my desktop, is what one would call super powered. They are very basic, most of my things, because again, I'm not a video gamer or anything like that. I've just used them for the internet and playing Sims. Sims 4, nothing, no MMORPGs that I need a lot of power for, the strong video cards. But if anybody has suggestions for video editing software that would be suitable for somebody who is extraordinarily new to it, like I am, something that's really easy, because all I really want to be able to do is, I don't even really want to insert music or graphics. I just want to be able to cut off and cut out things from the beginning and the end. I like this kind of like cinema verite thing where I just talk, and if I have a script, I'd love to be able to just chop off the ends and chop off the beginning and maybe add a title card. That's all I'm looking to do. I'm a pretty simple lady as far as things like this go, just working on the setup and backdrops and where I'd be filming and all that stuff. So, I'm probably going to put this on my Facebook page. If you're watching this, it's probably on my Facebook page right now. And I'll figure out maybe setting up a YouTube or something once I get everything well and truly set up. Once I get my lights fixed and get a ring light set up and get a backdrop more permanent and everything. But I am throwing this out here because I'm scared to do this. I've started therapy, and my therapist has said, do things that scare you, and this scares me. I have a lot of thoughts in my head, and I've always wanted to get them out there to more people than that I know, but the internet scares me because people are cruel on the internet. So I am trying this. I am at the very least putting this out there. I'm putting it on Facebook. If it doesn't go anywhere and I have this cool camera and I can take it on hikes and I can video the hikes that I go on and the bees and the butterflies and the birds and all the other wildlife that I see, then that's what I'll do. But if you're interested in seeing something from me, if you want to hear from me, if you want to just watch me sit in front of this camera and talk about things, give me a topic and I'll work on it. And yeah, anything that you guys, if anybody, I know I have a lot of friends that work in film and television. So I am so sorry, you guys. I mean, really, I have to apologize because you guys are probably like, oh my God, Sarah, this is terrible and I need to help you. And I'm like, yes, you do. I love you so much. Because, yeah, the writing, the content, that I am like gold on. But it's everything that comes before and after that that scares the F out of me. So, any constructive criticism or tips are welcome. And I honestly mean that. I love every single one of you who's watching this. Because, again, it's probably on my Facebook page, so I know you. So, there we go. Try and keep connected during COVID-19, the COVID-19 crisis. I don't know what... Again, I have a lot of thoughts in my head, and I have a lot of things to say. I just don't really have anything else to say about this. See if this remote works.